So, hey guys, today we're talking about the best possible zombie Endboard. So, we're not going to talk about like how realistic it is to access this, but if our Endboard consisted of actually only pure zombies, right? Just zombies and zombies alone, what is the best Endboard we can make? So, obviously, like the field spell zombie world, that won't be counting. So, like Grand Deflower with zombie world on the field, for example, is indeed a zombie, but for the purpose of this video, we're just talking about actual zombie monsters with the original type of zombie. So, yeah. So, first off, uh, well, for field spell space and like one of your monster spaces, I don't see why you wouldn't take Doom King Ballad Rock because there is no like super good zombie related field spell that does anything anyway, so might as well start off by putting Zombie World in our field spell zone or field zone, whatever, and then Doom King in one of our main monster zones. Doom King plus Zombie World is essentially two pieces of interaction, and sometimes Zombie World can mess up your opponent's deck. Like, for example, if they are playing a Cyberse deck, you have no Cyberse monsters anymore. So, yeah, that sucks to be you, I guess. And then following this, I guess we should start by looking at the different extra deck monsters we have for zombies. So let's go like this, and this. So we have Rumble Logos, does nothing. All of these guys do pretty much nothing. Pilgrim Reaper, this doesn't really help you in the sense of Endboard. Um, Shogun Saga, this doesn't really help you either. Um, I don't even know. I've never seen anyone summon Ooze Giant before, but it's a zombie card, I guess. It doesn't really help though. Lancelot, Dark Knight of the Underworld. This is technically an Omni Negate, but it's mandatory. So yeah, assuming like Doom King would be in your graveyard, you can't summon it because of this. So not great. And we'll just skim through all these. Wallow, founder of the Dredge Dragons. So you can only activate this uh, card once per turn. Yep. So you pick one of these effects, target one card in your opponent's graveyard, and detach one or two materials from this card, then activate the appropriate effect. If the target is a monster, you can special summon it face up or in face down defense position to your field. If it is not, set it on your field. So, for example, a spell trap, you could set that, like, let's say, I don't know, your opponent has a mirror force in their graveyard, you can set their mirror force. If they have a monster reborn, you can set their monster reborn. Sure. And like maybe your opponent has, let's say, Orcus Harborer, you can shuffle that back into the deck. Overall, this isn't that great. This is great if there is an Orcus Harborer, but for example, if it's just, I don't know, like Maxi, Ash Blossom, Joe Spring, not nearly as good. And then all the Mayakashis. I mean, technically, if you have Mayakashi, though, hey, there is this really horrible effect that's on like all of these. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck the turn you activate this effect, except for Mayakashi monsters. So this Mayakashi locks you for the whole turn. So realistically, this wouldn't be happening, and this would take up so much extra deck space. But if you could manage to pull this off somehow with like some other zombie extra deck monsters and stuff, well, this is probably just okay. Could be better. So we'll revisit that later, I guess. But let me think for a second. If I recall correctly, yeah, these guys have to be removed via specifically a destruction effect or something, right? No, destroyed by battle or card effect. While this card is in the graveyard, then you would banish one other zombie monster from your graveyard. So probably the one that got sent, and then you special summon this card, and then it does an effect. So you don't really have a choice of what floats into what, so that's not that great. Hades. That one's not a good effect either. Then Red Eye Zombie Dragon Lord. This actually, if we're just considering pure zombies, this doesn't actually do anything for your end board, so not worth mentioning at all. Skeletal Dragon Filgrand. This actually has a small amount of potential, but honestly, it's also not that great. So if a monster is special summoned from either graveyard while this monster is on the field, you can target one other face-up monster on the field, negate its effects, and there is also banish a monster in your opponent's graveyard or that they control. But you cannot banish your own, which is a little jank, but whatever. So this is essentially, you can sum this up as worse version of Doom King. So if we really need like a single monster, we would probably choose this over Red Eye Zombie Dragon Lord. Then we have here, let's see, Doom Kaiser. That doesn't really do anything for us. And yeah, primarily most of these don't do anything, but actually Zombie Stein's pretty good. Once per turn, quick effect, you can detach one material from this card and send one card from your hand to the graveyard, then target one face-up card your opponent controls. Change this card to defense position, and if you do, negate that targeted card's effects until the end of this turn. So this is an Omni Negate. Kind of awkward Omni Negate, but an Omni Negate nonetheless. So we'll take a Zombie Stein, I guess. It doesn't get much better than an Omni Negate, and if you have noticed, I guess, it's worth mentioning that Red Eye Zombie Dragon Lord pairs really well with Sun Saga, assuming you have a lot of synchros in your graveyard for whatever reason. It could be any type of monster in the graveyard, but let's assume you just, for some reason, have 10 in your graveyard. You can put them all back into your extra deck, and then Red Eye Zombie Dragon Lord summon Shiranui Sun Saga on your opponent's turn, and then pop up a bajillion. So technically sounds kind of good with Mayakashi, except you can't summon Sun Saga on the same turn as these guys, so maybe you summon him next turn. This can also shuffle back Banished as well, which is pretty useful. But that was me getting sidetracked a bit. If you've noticed, primarily all of these extra deck monsters are trash, and they don't really interact with spells and traps. So real quick, check this one out. Let's see. Once per turn, detach one from this card to target one card your opponent controls, send to the graveyard. Once per turn, if monster card is sent from the field to your opponent's graveyard by a card effect, or a monster is destroyed by balance sent to your opponent's graveyard. So this is a really roundabout big eye, essentially. Okay. That doesn't really do much in terms of end board. This is like a really crappy towers. So neither player can target this card with effects of special summon monsters except those special summoned from the graveyard. So it's untargetable sometimes, kinda. Shamisen Samsara Sorrow Cat. I don't think that's that useful, so moving along. Game Captor, yeah. Okay, so sum it up, all of the extra deck monsters, pretty bad. So we might actually, because we don't have anything good to run, we're going to probably, like, the Mayakashi stuff, if we're looking at this realistically, we just can't run anyways. So let's see. Shiranui, Skill Saga, Supremacy, Synchro monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. Fire monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you target one of your banished zombie synchro monsters. Special summon to your zone this card points to. So we could use this instead of Red Eye Zombie Dragon Lord, honestly, and that wouldn't be that problematic. Because there's just not that much going on. And of course we have Yugioh, the absolute zero Mayakashi, which is weird. So this is an if, so this happens in next chain, and it cannot, if it cannot change its attack to 0, it cannot negate. So like if your monster, for example, has no attack, I cannot negate it. Cool. And the effect of negate any activated effects of your opponent's banished monsters. This is not banished cards, just banished monsters. So this only works on like 2 decks, I believe. where like these effects kind of are relevant. Aside from that, there's like Gold Sark banishing uh Thespian Tragedy, attempt to search a Luber is not like a thing you can do anymore. Aside from that, it's like Thunder Dragon and Flu, but Flu already gets destroyed by like Zombie World, so this works on like exactly Thunder Dragon then. Because I don't think there's any activated effects of banish monsters that happens like in any deck, pretty much. Well, any good deck anyways. Just for example, Kashtira doesn't even have a single monster that can activate like no triggers or anything. All of those are spells or traps, so this literally does nothing against Cash, for example. And then here, this effect's actually kind of useful because you can use it twice per turn, but you would need a way to trigger this. But like, let's assume we have the best case scenario. We have like at least a copy of Banshee in the graveyard to trigger this, just whenever we kind of want to. Then we're chilling, right? And we would probably also have Yukiona, the Icicle Mayakashi, which has this lovely effect. Um, Quick effect, you banish this card from your graveyard, special summon one of your zombie synchro monsters that is banished or in your graveyard. So we can just use this to trigger Yukiona once, and then Banshee to trigger this the second time. So ideally, I guess then we would have Banshee in the graveyard with a copy of Zombie World already on the field, and another copy of Zombie World in deck, which is like fine. That's pretty doable. But we still haven't quite gone there. And also, even if our end board is completely full, I guess we also have Uggle in the graveyard. So nothing can be destroyed by battle or card effect if we so wish. It's up to us. Okay, so we have that as well. So let's go back to this. And then it's like zombie here. Okay. So because we have these guys, the guy we're probably going to summon back off of Yukiona, the Icicle Mayakashi, is going to definitely, well, this will probably be in the graveyard for whatever reason, but yeah. It'll probably have to be Sun Saga. We don't have anything else, honestly. And because this isn't an interruption, I mean, this is good in the grind game. We will not have Vampire Sucker on our end board, probably. So let's see how much space this takes up first. So, with 1, 2, 1, 2, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6. So if we just look at these guys, this takes up our entire board, essentially. Is this only monsters your opponent controls or cards your opponent controls? Let's see. Destroy cards your opponent controls. Unfortunate. So if that is the case, honestly, just more monster negates. We already have way too many monster negates if we include these, so or monster-based interaction. So this can remove however many monsters we want. Omni negate. This has like 2 monster negates on it. This has a monster negate, and then this will trigger the other monster negate, and then this will, yeah. So yeah, we'll probably cut these because this is going to take up too much space in general. So we wouldn't want these. So we can have this in our graveyard, no problem, right? And then this is just going to be another monster negate though, so that's 2, 3, 4, and then this is pops, and then this will take up space on our end board as well, and we won't be able to do anything more because of this. So yeah, we probably don't want to run these, but we'll probably make Immortal Dragon at some point to just maybe put like an Uggle or something, or Mizuki to extend. So that's fine. So we'll probably do some kind of synchro play. I'm not exactly sure how you would go about this, but it can happen. And putting Felgrand into the graveyard for like Sun Saga, it might be something that's worth doing. So doesn't super matter, I guess. In fact, one of the plays I think you can do with, like, for example, this link 3 is we can summon Red Eye Zombie Dragonlord, and then we can use the effect of Mad Mauler to target Red Eye Zombie Dragonlord. And then we can Synchro Summon into Sun Saga, and then this puts Red Eye Zombie Dragonlord into the graveyard, then we can banish Shiranui Sun Saga. And then if we have Shiranui Skill Saga Supremacy, we can special summon Sun Saga the next turn because it is banished, right? So yeah, we can summon this that way. So Red Eye Zombie Dragonlord is decent with like the Shiranui stuff because of this, but I mean, pretty awkward, pretty weird. I don't know exactly how we're getting all of our... Well, I guess I said the Endboard had to be zombies, but not the way to get there, so... Maybe there's going to be some kind of, like, synchro stuff you mess around with, like, I don't know. Maybe this guy, you know? Wait. Actually, no, wait. Wasn't it called something like this? XL Stardust? Yeah, XL Synchro Stardust Dragon. So, maybe we could make this to go into, like... one of these guys, and if we activate the effect, what does this do exactly? Tribute this card, special summon a Stardust Dragon. So if we do that, that will be, considering we'll have a Zombie World on the field, there'll be just another guy for us to shuffle back with Sun Saga. So that would work, I guess. We're not really worried about the feasibility of the extra deck and actually doing this combo though, so whatever. So you guys might be wondering, okay, so why would you be cutting out like Red Eye Zombie Dragonlord and Felgrand from the Endboard? Are there any better zombie monsters to put in? The answer is yes, surprisingly enough. So I mean, for an option here, this one is a little bit interesting. We have Voivode here. So Voivode has this effect. While a monster with its same name is in the graveyard, quick effect, you negate the activation. So that's cool, I guess. If a monster is special summon from your opponent's graveyard, you attribute 2 monsters special summon this card from your graveyard. So this has a lot of interesting text, but yeah, we're not playing this. Like, no way. The only reason you would want to play this is specifically because this is probably the best vampire we can put on our Endboard. And this will give us access to vampire domination. So that is a potential option, right? And in fact, let me count to make sure we have enough extra deck space. So, or not extra deck space, just space on our Endboard. So we have 1, then 2, 3, 4, and then probably put 1 more guy then. So like 5. Yeah, we have 1 more. So if we put in Voivode, we are at 5. So we have 1 more space in our monster zones. So what do you guys think? It's going to be our last guy. Well, the correct answer is obviously going to be Revendred Executor. So Revendred Executor actually has quite a lot. Just quite a lot of effects. Well, kind of. So if we just have Revendred Executor on our board, of course, this will just make it so our opponent cannot target cards we control with card effects except for this card. And if this ritual summon card is destroyed by battle or is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, it can add a Ventred card from our deck to the hand, although that's not relevant here. So mostly we're going to focus on the fact that this will make our board untargetable aside from itself. Or does it? Well, actually, with Revendred Executor's level, it is the perfect level for you to ritual summon using Vendred Revenants, Hound Horde, and 4. So that's levels 1, 4, 3, adding up to 8. So we can use all these as material. And then this will apply the effect of Core, Hound Horde, and Revenants. So Core's effect, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. So remember when the effect here said your opponent can only target Executor? Well, Executor's not targetable. So what does that mean? Your entire board is now no longer targetable. Alright then, I guess. And then we have Vendred Handhorde. Quick effect. You can target one spell trap your opponent controls, vanish it, soft once per turn. So now you have a back row vanish, back row removal. Nice. And then we have Vendred Revenants. You can target one special summon monster your opponent controls, so unfortunate that's special summoned only, but now we can quick effect vanish any special summoned card our opponent has. And we have 2 Omni Negates as well. And we have Sun Saga or any back row. So this endboard would be hella hard to make, but also if we have a Shiranui monster in our graveyard, if a zombie monster or monsters you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish one Shiranui monster from your graveyard instead. So assuming we also have a Shiranui monster in our graveyard, like maybe it's a Skill Saga Supremacy, like we can pretty easily access this and just link this off. But I mean, usually we probably would want to go Yugioh, so probably not this way. So we'll probably have like another Shira from something. Like, I guess maybe assuming we have the ideal hand, the most ideal hand of all time, we can maybe get lucky a little bit. But while we're at it, since we have the Vendred cards, we'll probably throw in the only Vendred back row that's relevant here. So just throw in Reorigin. Then that's probably going to be it. In terms of like something searchable, right? But I mean, technically, if you really want to throw this in, I don't think this would be that fun. But Ghost Meets Girl, technically, you could technically access this, but I don't really consider this as like an option. This will just kind of just floodgate your opponent. So not really fun. So we're not including this one in the back row. Although this is actually somewhat searchable, but not nearly as consistently as like Reorigin or Vampire Domination. So anyways, our end board is going to just simply be like Vampire Domination. We're going to have Reorigin. We're going to have Executor made with Core and Horde. Revenants. We're going to have Algol in the graveyard. We're going to have another Shiranui. And this Shiranui that we're probably going to have, if we somehow manage this, is probably going to be just a single copy of Solitaire. And what's the effect on this actually? If this card is banished, you target one of your banished Shiranui, let's say 6 for Shiranui or Solitaire, or up to 2. Instead, special summon them. That doesn't negate. Interesting. I have no idea how you're banishing this. But anyways, we have Doom King, so 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to have this in the graveyard. And then we're going to have this on field, 4, then 5, Zombie Stein, and then we're going to have one spot in our main monster zones that's going to be freed up for Sun Saga, which we will special summon off of Yugioh, the Icicle Mayakashi, and we will also have a copy of Banshee in the graveyard to trigger Yugioh, or wrong Yugioh, the Absolute Zero Mayakashi. And this is probably the best just pure zombie endboard you could make. Now, is this like super easy to make? No. Short answer, no. But I mean, if we we will definitely make a Vendred Savior at some point, and then we can easily link this off for like Yugioh, the Icicle Mayakashi, and then we could easily like link off like whatever else we have for Yugioh, the Absolute Zero Mayakashi, and then we'll have this in the graveyard, this in the graveyard, and we'll have gone this off the field. So that's great. So one of the big challenges here is how in the world do we make Zombie Stein? well, I don't even want to think about it. That's the correct answer, but this is a pretty hard one. So you need 2 level 8 dark monsters. So not really sure how you're going to go about this, but yeah, this is probably the hardest thing to make, unironically here. But I mean, technically making, for example, uh, what's it called, is pretty doable. So, oh yeah, this isn't really searchable, but Shurnary style Swallow Slash is also pretty crazy. But that's me getting distracted a little bit. So, Zombie Stone. I mean, technically, you can make like the zombie vampire sometimes. So, not sure if that uses 2 darks to make the zombie vampire, but yeah, Zombie Stein is a little rough to make. Then we don't ever probably make these guys. Bloodgrind's a light too, so it's not that great. This is a wind, and this is also wind, so that's awkward. Immortal Dragon is a dark, so that doesn't matter because it's not level 8, but yeah. This is the hardest thing to make, probably, to get just this Omni Negate. And then there is Vampire Domination, and then all the Vampire monsters. So not really sure how you're going to get those onto the field and search Domination, and I mean, we can easily link off as much as we need with Yugioh, so that's always a plus. Aside from that, though, yeah, making all these guys, if I were to rank difficulty, I think this is actually pretty easy. Revendread Executor, this is pretty doable. If we want like 4 hand-forward Revenants, we just probably don't want to super hard draw into like certain Garnets, and ideally we open like a pre-prep, and if we have a single pre-prep, I think we can get all the way to Revendread Executor without like really needing to invest your normal summon. So then we can save that stuff for like vampires and stuff. And vampires can make like Beatrice, and then we can link out Beatrice later as well. So sure, that's probably reasonable enough. Vampire Void. I'm not exactly sure how we'll be getting this onto the field, but this doesn't need to be normal summoned or anything. We can special summon this. This is probably the best zombie or vampire monster we can put on the board. I don't think there was anything else. We can double check though to see if there was anything else. I do know that you have like spell trap searches, so you can do that with your vampire stuff. I don't think any of these really do anything. I guess for a line is like not entirely bad. Or just the zombie vampire. You could end with zombie vampire, I guess, and that's like okay. Could be better. Let's just search quick effect. That'll speed things up. So, which of these guys have a quick effect? This one. Normal summon 1 vampire monster. So, I think that's pretty doable, actually. So, okay. Hear me out. What if we had, for example, Beatrice on our end board with Doom King Ballad Rock? So, wait, actually, never mind. This is main phase only, right? Isn't it? Oh, unfortunate. Because I was considering, like, tributing over Beatrice and Doom King and then summoning back Doom King in standby. Like, that would have been the idea, but I guess this won't work here. And we'll never be able to use that effect, so So the more I look at this, the like feasibility of this, it gets worse the more I like think about it, but this would be indeed the best zombie endboard. I don't know how you would actually like do this in one turn, like reasonably, but if you could, this is as good as pure zombies gets. And then you realize there are decks that can do the equivalent of this as a 1 card combo. And this would have to be like if the endboard sounds crazy, but you have to keep in mind you need like a curated like 5 card combo to do this that doesn't draw garnets that you might be able to pull off like in 1 out of 20 games. Like that's pretty ridiculous in my opinion, but yeah. If we cut off like certain parts of that board, notably like Zombie Stein and also the vampire stuff, it becomes like a lot more reasonable, but we just lost 2 Omni negates, so now we just lose the game to like essentially a single piece of back row removal. So if we get back row removed, all we have left is like Shiranui Sunsaga Pop, I believe. And we just lost everything else. Unless we have a Banshee, I guess, then we still have like Doom King, and we might be solid in that regard. Well, I guess we have Revendred Executor as well, which is like pretty good, but just getting our back row wiped is pretty bad. And we don't have a good way to stop it. Even if the back row would be only just like 1 copy of Zombie World. So, yeah. Ah, I'm not sure if this like Endboard is like even remotely doable, but maybe one of these days I'll give it a good old try. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.